is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Let's go, baby.
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on a break.
With Nick Eatman, David Hellman, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of The Break. We are here. Derek is not, but we got a lot of stuff to talk about. How are you guys doing?
Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I don't like it, but thank you.
Well, I hope it was good, regardless of how you felt
We
about
got
it.
birthday week around here.
Yeah, a lot of December babies here.
Yours is coming up.
Yeah.
Mickey
Mickey.
brought us still his birthday.
Derek.
Still his birthday. He's across town, but still his birthday. Have to reach out to him.
Yep.
And then Derek.
Oh,
Down the
yeah.
line.
He's back. He's toward New Year's, though.
Yep.
All right, well, we got some things to talk about. The first thing is this 3 kickers, right? 3 of them that are coming back for a tryout. I believe there's 2 guys that were here from last week's tryout that the guys decided not to sign any of them, but now brought back 2 of them plus another guy.
Yeah.
What are we hearing about these 3 kickers
Well,
trying out
the
today?
big one is Kai Forbath because he's been around for a long time. He's been, I think he's played like 80 games going all the way back to 2011, which was a weird year because we had at training camp, we had 5 kickers on the team in 2011. He was one of them. He was injured. Another one was this rookie named Dan Bailey. They ended up going with him. That worked out. But Forbath has been around, but his issue is missing extra points.
I was going to say, tell me on the air the stat you told me this morning.
12 missed extra points in his career.
Yikes.
He's missed one. He played 1 game this year with the Patriots. They brought him in. He made a field goal, 23 yards, and then missed an extra point cut. So, Maher, as bad as it's been, he hasn't missed extra points. I mean,
That's where we're at right now.
That's where we're at.
That's where we're at
But
right
the
now.
guy that they're trying to sign has missed extra points. Another guys that brought in Nick Rose, who's
And
played.
Nick Rose, who went to Texas, who's spent a little bit of time in the league. I think he's got 14 career attempts.
Yeah.
Tristan Vizcaino. I'll if they sign him, I'll figure out how to say his name. I haven't heard anything.
He's just a big
They brought him in last week.
power leg from University of Washington. He's never kicked in a game.
I looked up his stats when they worked him out the first time, and he went 12 of 20 in his final season at Washington, which
I think the reason why he gets to go to training camp, because he's been to 2 camps, is because he can kick and punt.
yeah.
Maybe not either one of them well, but he does both, and that's a perfect guy you want at camp.
Can I just bluntly ask you how you feel about this? So, Maher misses from 42 on Thursday night. We said on Friday that should probably be the last straw. He hasn't been performing very well. They haven't done anything. They have another kicker workout today, and it's only Monday. The players are off. There's not a lot going on right now, so they could make a move. But I'm just perplexed at this whole process.
Yeah, it obviously the guys on the street. I mean, think about it. If they cut Maher, there's 3 other teams that might have to sign a kicker, and I guarantee you, Maher's going to be at the top of the list of we got to go. He's out there. It's just right there of 4. There's probably 15 guys that are about a miss or 2 away from getting cut, and it's just this cycle that rotates through. They're not any better. I mean, Nick Folk's a great example. In 2009, he made the Pro Bowl in 07 as a rookie. By 09, he was struggling, missed a kick in New Orleans, cut, gone. He's still kicking today. I mean, 10 years later, Maher will still have a career. He'll just be in that mode. But it's just, as of right now, it's you got to get somebody different. Anybody but him, I think.
It just reminds me of do you online shop? Do you online shop?
Yeah.
I online shop exclusively. You've seen the pile of packages at my desk.
Yeah.
And when you want something, you're a little iffy about the price or how much you want it, and you just let it sit in your cart for you'll just leave it there for days. You're yeah, I really want that, but I wish it was $39.99 instead of $60, or whatever. And I'll just let it sit in my cart. I'll leave the tab open on my browser for 3 days at a time, and it's I either want it or I don't. Like, either buy it or close it out, and you're just kidding yourself by letting it sit there.
Could you not sign somebody, one of these kickers, bring it in, just keep Maher, and cut somebody else? There are a couple of guys on the roster that you could cut.
You're not the first person that suggested that to me, which, I mean, that's not conventional NFL roster building.
Yeah.
Because you only have 53 spots. But, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with you. Like,
they kept two backup quarterbacks last year.
You know,
I mean, different position.
Why don't you put one on the practice squad?
You could.
Like, not Forbath.
Forbath wouldn't be eligible,
no,
yeah.
but one of those other guys maybe on the practice squad.
I know, because, like, I need this guy for a game, don't I? Like, what if... and that's my point. That was my analogy, is, like, you're either done with Maher or you're not. And, like, you just make the decision that you're switching, or there's 3 weeks left and you don't feel confident that these guys are better. Like, it just seems so wishy-washy to me. Like, Maher's here all through the weekend, and then on Monday it's like, well, let's take another look at these guys that we didn't like last week.
Let me ask you about your analogy. Is it mostly clothes?
Shoes, clothes, stuff for my apartment. I don't know.
Because usually when it comes to that, it's like, it looks good, but how's it going to feel and how's it going to fit? And that's the issue you have.
Yeah,
that's
a good point.
That's what you're talking about. I thought you were talking about that analogy for the kicker you're going to bring in. You're kind of talking about make a move or
either way. Like, decide that this is something you want or don't. And I'm not going to kill you either way, because I'm not convinced that these guys are astoundingly better.
I like bringing the guy in for the week, letting him kick, because you know what's going to happen. You know Maher will never miss at all in practice.
Yeah.
Like with this other guy sitting here taking some of the kicks, like, Maher's just going to drill like 68-yarders.
But even still, like, I don't like, what does that decision process look like? Like, let's say they sign Kai Forbath today, and we don't know that they will, just hypothetical. And you let him practice all week, and then you cut one of them on Friday, or do you make one of them inactive and carry them both to the game?
Like,
I mean,
the
what do you?
practice squad analogy, not the roster. If you're gonna do Kai Forbath, then bye, see him.
I would love to see the Cowboys handle this like a college team, and, like, you know, have them both on the roster, and Maher can take the 55 and up, and Forbath can take the 45 and in. I mean, like I said, it's it doesn't follow conventional wisdom. But I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, like, okay, I don't want to single anybody out, but, like, we know that there are guys on this team that do nothing on game day and haven't most of the season. I mean, you have your inactives that are inactive week after week. And I know you feel good about, like, Joe Jackson. Obviously you feel good about him. He played well in training camp. You think he can develop, but you're trying to reverse course and, get some positive steam going for the playoffs. I mean, be more useful than a guy that you just know is going to be a healthy scratch.
Is it going to matter?
No.
I mean, because because you know the Rams. You knew the Rams were going to turn this thing around. By the time they played you, it's like they're going to be a good team. They've had some struggles. They got beat bad at home. They got it figured out. They're playing well.
They're a win out of a wild card spot right now. I mean, Minnesota's doing their thing. They got to catch Minnesota, but if Minnesota were to lose and they were to win, then all of a sudden they're the 6th seed in the playoffs.
I mean, did you see how they were rushing the passer last night? Like,
yeah.
Russell Wilson, it was like 1, 2, 3, get rid of the ball. They were collapsing him. And I know that this offensive line has played well at times, but as one of the starters just walked by. But no, it doesn't matter. They're gonna have their hands,
absolutely,
full, because the last time they played the Rams, Zeke got 50 yards rushing, and I mean it was a problem. And so Aaron Donald still seems like he's the best in the league.
We were joking on Cover 4 this morning. Like, I was just getting buried in tweets from people last night that were like, well, this is going to be a demolition. Like, this is... And I don't know. It never plays out that way. Like, in the NFL, maybe in college, but, like, in the NFL, it's never like, well, the Rams look really good and the Cowboys look really bad, so it's going to be 45-10. Like, that hardly ever comes to pass. But it does look like it's going to be a heck of a challenge.
Did you ever say the word strange lady yesterday? Because I did, and I can tell you the game that.
Which one?
It definitely. Well, you can say the Saints and the 49ers with these two great defenses.
Yeah, two great defenses,
46.
and it's
But to
that
me,
was intense.
To me, the strange lady one was Denver and
Houston. God,
Houston
yeah.
had just beaten the Patriots at home, and next thing I know, it's 38-3 Denver at Houston. I'm like,
with a rookie quarterback starting.
Strange lady. So
How about
just when you think
Pittsburgh is like Pittsburgh is 8-5 with a guy named Duck, who's like their fourth option at quarterback. You're not wrong. Which, and please don't roll your eyes too hard at me, but like that's why you can't rule out the possibility that the Cowboys will play really well in this game. I know it doesn't seem likely based on what we've seen the last 3 weeks, but it is a strange lady.
All right, well, we talked about the kicker and that position. It's still to be determined. We'll see what happens, what kind of decisions the Cowboys decide to make in the few days.
I mean, if they make a move, they'll have to announce something. But Jason Garrett's not talking to the media today, and everybody's off tomorrow, so we won't have a chance to pick his brain about that until Wednesday morning. But if they were to make a roster move, we would hear about it for sure.
And needless to say, that's not like it's going to fix all the Cowboys' problem. I mean, yes, it's going to fix something, but at the same time, there are a lot bigger things going around the team. And one of them being that it's going all through social media and people really questioning whether this roster is or not a talented team that we were talking about during training camp, and we were praising how much talent there was, and now there is a whole conversation between coaching and whether it's talented or not. So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll dive into that whole conversation.
I'm Jay Novacek, former tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. Back in the day, I was the guy who always got the tough yards, and that's why I run with John Deere today. In fact, I have a John Deere 3025E tractor that can handle any yard work I need to do, even the tough yards way out back. So if you have 1 acre or 1,000, John Deere has the equipment that's just right for you. Visit a John Deere dealer today and run with us. We are the official tractor provider of your Dallas Cowboys.
Whether you're into being a part of this or more into something like this, SeatGeek has the tickets to the events you love. It's the easiest way to find, buy, and sell tickets. Plus, with their Deal Score technology, they'll recommend the best seats in the house at the best value. So the next time you're craving this, download the SeatGeek app and let's go. SeatGeek.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Ready? Okay. Give me an S. S. Give me an O. O. Give me an S. S. Give me an O. O. What's that spell?
So.
Are we gonna win?
Not if we play like we cheer.
Just okay is not okay. Whether it's cheerleaders or your wireless network, AT&T is America's best wireless network. Best network based on GWS One score September 2019.
Back to the break.
All right, welcome back. Now, one of the most current debates happening around this Cowboys team is, aside from coaching and the whole thing, is...
Aside from that whole thing,
which
is
thing.
like the dominant storyline of the month.
Right. But there's also another storyline that's coming out, and is this Cowboys roster as talented as we have been talking about since the beginning of training camp? I wanted to get your thoughts on this whole conversation and what you really think of whether or not this Cowboys team is talented.
Okay, I think. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, you guys know my stance on this because I've been saying it. I mean, you say it's a current debate. I mean, I've been trying to debate it for a while after the Jets game.
You have been mentioning.
The Jets are 1 game behind the Cowboys. Just
are they really?
They're 5-9.
They're 5?
5-8. 5-8.
Oh my God!
So it all's making sense now.
When you put it into perspective,
it's like, I think you framed it in a really interesting way. Like, are they as talented as we said they are at training camp? And the answer is no, because at training camp, it was this is the most talented team since the 90s and yada, yada, yada. And it was predicated on a lot of stuff happening, right? Like Malik Collins, he's going to be this badass pass rushing defensive tackle. And he's been good for whatever that's worth. Not as crazy as we thought he'd be. Xavier Woods was a guy we thought would make this crazy jump into being a, maybe not elite, but a really solid starter. Hasn't happened. Chido Awuzie, hasn't happened. Travis Frederick, he's going to get back to playing at that freakish all-pro level. Hasn't happened. So
those don't leave out the two linebackers because we thought they were going to take it to the next level.
Of course.
They did.
And I left them out on purpose just because. But my point, I still think those are talented guys.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I got into this argument with Clarence Hill on Twitter last night is like, don't tell me they're not a talented team. They have talent. I mean, I can go down the line. Like, they're dealing with injuries, and that's not an excuse. Like, the offensive line is talented. We know they are. The linebackers are talented. They sure as hell haven't been playing like it. But you can't tell me they're not talented. Byron Jones, all-pro last year. In my opinion, playing pretty well. He doesn't get picks, but we knew that about him. He's doing his job. He's played at an all-pro level before. Amari Cooper speaks for himself. Michael Gallup is one of the lone guys that did take the jump we thought he would. Ezekiel Elliott, not living up to his contract. Would you say he's a talented player?
Oh yeah, and yeah.
That's
he's playing pretty well.
That's my thing is.
So it's more meeting that expectation.
They're not good. That doesn't mean they're not talented. Am I crazy for thinking that? That I made this. I'm not trying to take shots at Derek's team just because he's not here. The Texas Longhorns are talented. They recruit at the top of the sport year after year after year. That doesn't mean they're good. You got to play up to that level of expectation. Coaching is part of it. Scheme is part of it. Personal accountability, players rising to the level of their own talent. I don't think not being good means you're not talented. I guess that's where I come down on it.
And where I've always said is that, you can't sit here all day long and talk about the entire team, but I just don't think that the team is talented all the way through. Yes, they're top heavy, and that's always been the case when you have Jerry Jones. He likes the big splash guys, and he'll go and get some of these guys and pay them at a high level, which ultimately we kind of view that as, they're making a lot of money, then they're obviously worth it, but it's not always the case. But I think the big issue is just down in the backup area when you have to go next man up is a huge drop off. And I just don't.
Which is unfortunate because even back at the beginning of the season, we were talking how much depth there was all around this whole roster.
So. We thought so for sure.
Is that I honestly tend to place that on coaching. Like, I don't believe the way the NFL is structured.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you're the 2013 Seattle Seahawks and you've got a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback playing for $600,000 and you've got 4 future Hall of Fame defenders playing on rookie contracts, then you might be deeper than the average NFL team. But most teams are very similar in the sense that you got your big money guys, you got some solid to replacement level starters and some decent depth, and if you lose that, you're probably screwed. Like, I don't think the San Francisco 49ers just lucked into having fantastic backup tackles. Like, they played without their starting offensive tackles for like 6 weeks. Am I to believe that those guys are just magically that much better, or are the 49ers really well coached and they schemed around it?
Same with the Eagles in the Super Bowl run. I agree. It's a combination of both. This team is not as talented as we thought. It's actually 3 things. They're not as talented as we thought all the way across the board. Their depth really isn't that great, and it's noticeable. And the coaching staff has not been able to bring that out when they've really needed it. So it's all 3.
I think you're basically. Are any of the big money guys on this team just really and truly living up to their deal?
Not one guy.
I would argue Lyle. I think Lyle's fine. And honestly, I know he disappears on the road. I know he put up a donut in New England. Amari Cooper's playing worth $13 million right now, in my opinion.
Sure. And Dak is playing worth the $2 million he's making.
Dak is playing worth the salary he's on right now, maybe not the salary that he's going to get.
No, and that one's tricky too with Dak because everybody loves him and everyone loves how he plays and how him as a leader. And I've had some people tell me that he doesn't really seem like he's a really good vocal leader. And I'm like, I don't think you're actually getting to see.
I've never heard that criticism, but I think it's crazy.
It's crazy, but. The thing is that he can't have it both ways. For people that say, Dak's having a good year, there's only one reason they would say that: stats. Right? I mean,
Sure.
he's putting up numbers and stats, leading the league, all that kind of stuff. But his team is 6-7, so that matters. And so if you're going to go off stats, we saw one example, not every game, but one example Thursday night that stats can lie. He didn't have a great game.
They lied on Thanksgiving, too.
They lied on Thanksgiving. So I sit here and go, do I think he's the future quarterback of the team? Without a doubt. Do I think he's playing really well? No.
There's a fun parallel there because, like,
Hi, Derek.
Hi, Derek.
Hey.
For 3 years, Dak's stats were like middle of the road, like 230 yards. His career high for touchdowns is 23. You're like, we're paying this guy $35 million,
but he won.
And didn't just win. He leads the league in comebacks and fourth quarter winning drives, all that stupid stuff. It's not stupid, you know what I mean? All those stats. Mm-hmm. He's not doing that this year. Like, he's got the stats that make him look like a $40 million quarterback. Has he had like just a moment in the fourth quarter of a game this season?
They have not won a game when they've trailed in the second half.
Then that answers my question.
He doesn't have a fourth quarter comeback or second half comeback.
For the sake of the argument, I think we can all agree he has made a jump since John Kidna came in, and he has developed as a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, for the sake of the argument, could you take into account the whole fact of coaching, as a whole, not just the quarterback coach, but as a whole, and what they're doing in offense, and him maybe not getting the help that he needs in order to take it up a notch?
You have to say that. That's the only answer, because he's not going anywhere. So if you're Jerry Jones, you have to say that. And I'm not saying it's right, it's wrong, and you're just that's the only recourse here, because Dak's the quarterback. He's going to be the quarterback, and I think he should be. You got to help him in a better way.
Devil's advocate of all devil's advocate, which I agree with you, but we're 100% confident of that. Like, I mean, there's nothing tangible tying them to him.
Nothing is 100%.
Yeah. I know.
So the headline is going to be
yes.
So the headline of the show is going to be.
I think it's very clear Dak's going to be here for the foreseeable future.
Dave's been driving the Dak bandwagon for years. I just am curious. I mean,
Jerry's going to sit down with the new.
So what?
coach.
You're going to start over? Like, what's the alternative? Tell me the alternative.
The alternative would probably be to franchise Dak.
Mm-hmm.
Draft.
In this scenario, there's a new coaching staff coming in. They use 2020 as an audition year and either draft a replacement in this upcoming draft, or then you do it again the year after that.
Let me break your scenario down. If you're going to go back to the well and try to draft a quarterback, how bad is this thing going to have to get for you to get up there to where you can actually draft a quarterback?
You draft a third-round quarterback
and hope he becomes Russell Wilson.
Yeah, and say, well,
great, that works.
John Kitten is doing such a great thing.
That works. Great. You got a plan.
You're not hitting lightning. You're not having lightning strike
That's
twice.
my point.
And again, we're just arguing here because it's Monday and they haven't played a game since Thursday. But I mean, you could get up to the top of the draft. The Eagles got there from 16 to get wins.
But okay, let's take that side and let's play that out. What we still know is, even if you get up to that part of the draft, the prospect on getting a quarterback that's going to be better, appreciably better than what you already have, is a 50-50 prospect.
Yeah.
So if you've got a quarterback, and I believe this wholeheartedly about the NFL, if you have a quarterback that you think can be good enough, you have to pay him and keep him. Because the alternative is you go back to the well and it is literally go fish. I have 50% chance I'm going to pull out a guy that's better than what I got, and there's 50% chance I'm going to get somebody worse. And now I'm going to put my franchise even farther back until I can find that guy, and I may be chasing that guy as franchises like the Cleveland Browns have done for 20, 30 years. Right?
How good are you at fishing?
Well, how good is
that? That's all nice. That's all nice to say.
The staff over here, they're pretty good at. Well, not this year.
Okay, but let me tell you like this. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles. Everybody thought they hit with Wentz. Now there are people that are questioning whether they hit with Wentz. They gave up a boatload to get up there to the second pick in the draft to be able to get him. Let's assume for a second it continues to go the way it's going, and he ends up being a guy that's just a guy. They gave up all that capital for a guy that's just a guy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You are really playing 50-50 propositions when you're going to quarterbacks.
Look at the top 5 quarterbacks in the league in the last 3 or 4 years when you're talking about Goff, Wentz, Trubisky, not Thursday night, but just normal Trubisky when
Normal
he's not made out to be like a stud. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. I'm missing a draft class in between, like the 17 draft class.
17 was, well, you said Trubisky, but you left.
That was 17.
Yeah, although
18.
Watson and Mahomes, they weren't top 5.
Okay,
but they were big picks.
So they were later in the first round, and that even tells you a little something about where you're picking and your level of your opportunity for success.
Well, at
right?
some point, the NFL is going to figure out here. I don't know how many times they got to get hit in the face to figure out that, you know what, don't try to make these guys into wide receivers. They're freaking quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson's a quarterback, Deshaun Watson. So all this stereotypes about it's crap, and that's why Mahomes probably fell. That's why Watson fell. And those teams are probably kicking themselves now because these guys that may not be the traditional quarterback, one of them won MVP last year. One of them's going to win MVP this year. Figure it out. I mean, like the athletic, mobile quarterback, that's what the game is right now. And I think if the Cowboys, go back to coaching, if the Cowboys would just do their own analytics and go, wow, Dak gets 25 yards rushing or more, they're like 12-1. And then when he doesn't, they don't win. I mean, run the ball.
To take it back, I'm firmly comfortable giving Dak a contract. Having said
we're
that,
all on the same page here.
Having said that, he hasn't been winning in the crunch the way that we've gotten used to seeing, and I know that scares fans because he's not lifting this roster when he's not accounting for that cap hit. Not right now, and so he will hurt the cap soon. And I know that freaks people out.
I think what I'm finding out this year is that Dak has gotten better. Dak is becoming a really good quarterback. Dak is not ready yet for the team to put everything on his shoulders and say, go win ball games for us.
Didn't we think that was the case like a month ago, though? No. With the performances that
honestly,
he put together
I don't know if I'd say that because I don't know that we'd seen him, like we said. We hadn't seen him make those game-winning drives when game is on the line, you have the ball, you've got 2 minutes, what are you going to do with it? He hadn't been doing that this season. And so I don't think that they're ready yet to say, hey, put everything on our quarterback like the Seattle Seahawks do with Russell Wilson. I don't think he's there yet. What I think is he still is on that trajectory. Let's see if he continues to grow. But like I said before, if you have a guy that you think's on that trajectory, you got to pay him like he's that guy because you don't want to go back to the well.
You know who's helped Mahomes a lot, who's helped Lamar Jackson. I know Jimmy G. Yeah, okay, you can say that, but I'm talking about on the offense guys that they rely on. Look at those 3 guys, and now tell me who the 3 best tight ends in the league are. I bet you it's Kelsey, Kittle, maybe Mark Andrews. I mean, I don't know if he's that good.
I think Mark Andrews is really good.
I do too.
I liked him like him in college.
Hayden Hurst
he beat up on us a lot in college.
Does Deshaun have he doesn't have a tight end.
No,
but
Seattle and Houston don't have like amazing tight end.
Probably
play.
got the best receiver in the game. I think that guy's amazing.
Hell yeah, Hopkins. Yeah,
I love Hopkins. I love the way he plays. He does it with whoever the backup is. He's in.
The question.
He's a tight end.
Big facts.
But I think you also need a guy that knows how to call the plays the right way. It became apparent to me as I was watching the San Francisco 49ers and looking at the Atlanta Falcons how much the coach matters. Because if you think about it, the last time we saw that Atlanta offense clicking, it was when the coach that's now the head coach in San Francisco was calling their plays. Everything fell apart after that. Like their offense has not been the same since he left. And by the way, San Francisco's offense now is clicking.
Shanahan's
I think the person that calls the plays, the person that organizes the offense, really dictates how good that offense is going to be. And I personally believe the Cowboys just may not have enough experience at that position to be able to be as good as some of those guys.
A lot of positions. If you think about their coaching staff, you can say, is this guy maybe inexperienced or in over his head? I mean, think about it from play caller. Yeah, he's had his moments, but he is still young and he's doing all that. I know Chris Richard's been the defensive coordinator before. That's a weird dynamic there. He's not in over his head. It hasn't clicked well. Offensive line coach. I mean, Colombo's still relatively. They gave him that chance. Keith O'Quinn, they kind of gave him that chance. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think you can say that about some of these positions and think, well, maybe they do need to get a little bit more.
How many of these guys? This is their first. Even if they've been doing it for a few years, this is their first opportunity as a position coach coaching that position.
I don't know.
Colombo, Kellen,
Nussmeier?
No. Well, Nussmeier's resume is
been around.
Is this Bloom's first opportunity with linebackers?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is this Gerard's first opportunity with defensive line?
Well, Gerard is not an assistant coach, but yeah. But don't throw him in the mix there.
Your point is well made.
Yeah.
The question I'm asking is just, do you have enough experience?
And Sanjay Lal, he's been around.
He's been a receivers coach before, though.
Okay, but look at his resume. 1 year here, 1 year here, 2 years here, 2 years here, 1 year here. I mean, why aren't they loving him?
Yeah,
sounds like that's gonna be the same track for that pattern's gonna keep going.
Keep the boxes.
Is that what we're doing today, AG?
I think that's
we
where
making
it's
changes.
headed.
Always.
We
But
making changes.
Let's go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, we still need to hit on some of these injuries that happened from last game. You know, Dak hurt his hand, and we still have a question mark on what's going on with Leighton Vander Esch. So let's figure out what we found out so far when we come back.
Ready? Okay. Give me an S. S. Give me an O. O. Give me an S. S. Give me an O. O. What's that spell?
So.
Are we gonna win?
Not if we play like we cheer.
Just okay is not okay. Whether it's cheerleaders or your wireless network, AT&T is America's best wireless network. Best network based on GWS One score September 2019.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again for Tailgating with the OtterBox Boys.
OtterBox, the company that builds wildly overprotective phone cases?
The one and only. But cases are just the start. OtterBox is the official outfitter of tailgating.
If they can keep my phone safe, what can they do for my parking lot party?
How about protecting your beverages from suboptimal drinking temperatures with their elevation tumblers? And OtterBox elevation tumblers come in 3 sizes: a 10-ouncer, a 20-ouncer, and even a 64-ounce growler.
Check out all the colors and sizes of their elevation tumblers at otterbox.com.
Whether you're into being a part of this or more into something like this, SeatGeek has the tickets to the events you love. It's the easiest way to find, buy, and sell tickets. Plus, with their deal score technology, they'll recommend the best seats in the house at the best value. So the next time you're craving this, download the SeatGeek app and let's go. SeatGeek.
Hey Cowboys Nation, this season when the Cowboys win, you get to experience the sweet taste of victory because if the Cowboys win, the next day Dunkin' is offering a free medium hot or iced coffee. So don't just celebrate the Cowboys' success from the sidelines, head to Dunkin' and treat yourself to real victory because this season Cowboys fans aren't only winning on game day, they're winning the next day too with a free medium coffee. Cowboys Nation runs on Dunkin'. Excludes cold brew. Limit 1 per guest. Participation may vary. Limited time offer.
Back to the break.
All right, welcome back. Now, we're running out of time, but we still have some things to talk about.
We got time.
It flies by.
Talking went like 5 minutes over. We can do what we want.
Yeah, we got
What are they
Derek
gonna
here.
do to us?
He
Yeah.
makes the call.
Just saying, what are they gonna do to us?
We got Boss Man
Do whatever
here.
we want to do.
Damn
All
right.
right, well, let's get over these injuries. What?
Time out.
Uh-oh.
They've cut Brett Maher and they have signed Kai Forbath.
There you go.
Is
Dak-
So it's official.
It's
Breaking news. One of the guys they didn't.
Guy
Was he on the Patriots roster at the time they had the tryouts?
I believe so.
So that's why they wouldn't have brought him in
Right.
with those trials. Okay, got it.
Okay, so scratch what we said on the first segment. What do we feel
That was
about
such
this?
a good analogy on my part. That was like one of my finer moments, and it had an 18-minute shelf life.
Yeah. Now, moving on. How do we feel about this decision that the Cowboys just made?
You know, I said this earlier and you weren't here. I talked about the Nick Folk thing 10 years ago when he was a good kicker but just went into a rut. They had to make a change. He's still kicking now. He's 10 years later. Like it happens. Maher will still be in the mix. He'll have 2 or 3 tryouts probably in the next few weeks. But I just think for what this team, they just needed a different guy. Get your 2-point plays ready, though. I don't know. He can't make extra points. Maybe that's the issue. But it's just going to have a different set of problems. He has struggled as extra points for Forbath. He's a better kicker in the 30-40 range. I don't know why. It's almost the same kick.
At this point, it's just one of those things of don't keep doing the same thing expecting different results, right? So you got to change it up. And if this next guy does the exact same thing, then you'll have to change up again. Right now, you're chasing a kicker because it's holding you hostage, as Bill Parcells used to say. And there's no way to get out of that in the middle of a season other than just changing the face and hoping that the guy gets on a string of made kicks.
I think kicker's just weird. I got into that argument when Bailey was kicking in a game like right after Maher had struggled, and everybody was like, "Oh, they made a mistake. They're dumb. They let Bailey go." And I don't even believe that to this day. Like it's such a mental thing, and it affects you in a way that has nothing to do with what's actually happening on the field. Maybe he would never admit this, but I'm sure it's probably terrible for Brett Maher, like was wandering around the facility and people are kind of looking at you out of the side, giving you the side eye.
No, I was.
It's in your head, of course. Yeah. Everybody is, and I just think a change of scenery is necessary in those situations, and maybe Brett Maher will go kick ass for somebody else, but. The environment here was hindering him.
I'm just laughing because people don't even think I just tweeted it out, and they're like, "Is this real?" And that someone just tweeted out like a animated GIF of something that just said "Sleep well, Maher," like of the head hitting a pillow, which is what he said the other night. And you know what? That really pissed me off. I thought that was cuttable right there.
Yeah.
Because think of it like this.
I think I would have left him in Chicago.
What if he would have made 4
Don't even
field
get
goals?
on the plane.
No, you don't even get on the plane.
What if he makes 4 field goals and 2 extra points in that game, and then says, I'm going to sleep well. I hit the ball well, and we lost or whatever. I mean, if anyone would have said I'm going to sleep well after a loss, doesn't matter how you performed. Like,
as an individual.
That's not what you say.
Isn't that the comment that turned like half of the Cowboys fan base against Tony Romo?
Yeah.
Like, if that's the worst thing that happens to me.
And by the way, what he said was totally accurate and totally the right thing to say, but not the right thing to say in that moment. It's the right thing to say when you're done with your career and you're sitting back with your kids and you're like, I have a great life. Like, that's the right thing to say then. But not after a game.
And I never had a huge problem with what Romo said on that part, but whatever.
I'm not trying to judge what Romo said, but it pissed a lot of people off.
It pissed people off. But the thing about it is as a kicker, like, I've seen the knuckleball kick that just sneaks in and wins the game. Hitting the ball well is not the prerequisite of what you're trying to do. I know I said the golf analogy last week, but I'm just saying.
Great analogy.
Well, and I've had a lot of people that talked about that because it happens to them. I mean, I hit the ball great. It went way over here.
Right.
You know how many 475-foot foul home runs there are? I mean, congratulations, you just struck out. Hit it straight and good. That's what an NFL kicker does. I need you to kick it well and straight. Those 2 things, please.
Yeah. But that's the fun nature of the kicker position is like, Kai Forbath got cut by the Pats because he couldn't hit an extra point. Like, literally, Pats fans are like, bring back Gostkowski. This guy's terrible. But he wasn't here. So now Cowboy fans are like, well, extra points are a problem, but this guy's nails from 40 to 49, which is what we need. This is our guy. Just like if somebody signs Brett Maher in a week and a half, they're going to be like, this dude's got a cannon. Like, okay, like we'll deal with all that stuff when we get him. Like, this guy can hit from anywhere. And it's such a mental thing. Like, it's a clean slate. So Forbath isn't the guy that's cost you a couple games, so he's great. Maher is, and so he's got to go. And it's not fair, but it's a unique position in the sport where like the mentality of it is almost everything. Because every kicker in the league can hit from 50. They can. Mm-hmm. It all comes down to mental.
Yeah, but the thing that bothers me is that I've heard a lot of kickers say, or people that talk about kickers, just from about 35 in, just put the ball down. And laces, I don't care, just kick it. But you don't need to be on a certain hash. Like the play caller shouldn't have to, and he should have in the game the other day against the Bills, but ultimately that's not a good thing. Like, yeah, right now, put this pass on the left side so he can kick it the way he wants it, but moving forward, that's not what we need.
And isn't that's to take it all the way back? That's what we heard about Bailey too. Is like by the end of his tenure, he was like so concerned about the operation and like I needed this range, need the laces here, I need it on this hash mark. Like, and it's like, well, if you're that worried about all of this, then how much do we really trust you?
Let's go back to golf. You have a terrible slice, okay? Everything goes left. You get to the point where you're on the tee box and you're like, everyone's watching. You just have to turn your whole body to the right. And they're like, that's a house right there. I'm like, I know, but I'm going to...
Trust me on this.
Trust me. Yeah. This is to get through the 14th hole and everyone's watching, and let's get on the cart and go. But that's not like a great way to play golf. You know what I mean? You got to get through it, but you typically want to hit straight.
So if we're thinking, I mean, I'm skipping the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season for right now, but like off-season priorities.
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking about that.
Cornerback, safety, D tackle.
Can I be the fan listening right now?
Tight end.
Coach.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's
Priority.
fair.
Honestly,
you
look
don't you don't draft and acquire coaches in free agency. Though.
You
That's-
might.
Well, God, yeah, you're right.
You might.
You look at
Can
all
you
the-
just let me make the point? Is
Yes.
kicker is on a long list of things that this team is going to need to look at in the offseason.
And in my opinion, maybe near the top. Maybe not the top, but near the top, because you think about how many positions can affect the outcome of games like kicker can. I don't know that there are a lot right now where the Cowboys need a player.
You can't do anything about it other than draft the Lou Groza Award winner in the 3rd round, which
And
would
he
be crazy.
still might suck.
And he still might suck.
That's true.
You know how many
That's
Lou
the
Groza
point.
Awards?
It is hard. It is hard to find
Dan
that guy.
Bailey won it.
It's very hard to
And
find
he
that
was
guy.
Improve in getting the end zone and getting 6 points at
There
least.
we go.
Okay, that's
There we
where you
go.
start.
There we
That's
go.
where you start.
But
Quit
you're still
worrying
gonna
about
need,
these
but you're still going to
well,
need a
yeah,
kicker. You're
yeah,
still
yeah,
need,
you'd
but
still
you're right.
do.
You're right.
But-
You do limit your liability if you can figure out how to actually turn these red zone trips into actual touchdowns.
God. Well, they'll figure out at one point. Let's go over these injuries.
yeah, that's it. They'll figure it out. Like, run the touchdown play, damn it! Why can't you just run
Why
the
don't they
touchdown
run the
play?
They got it written right down. It says touchdown play. Why are you not running that one?
Exactly.
Then they got to kick an extra point, and Forbath will miss it.
Yeah.
2 point. Run your 2 point play.
Yeah.
All right. Dak hurt his index finger on his right throwing hand and sprained his left hand after the Bears game. How is that going now? How is
10
his
days,
hand?
you're good. I think he'll be fine.
Put some tape on it.
He did have some tape on his little finger. It'd be good. Like during the press conference, he had like a tape on his finger, and I don't know what's up with the left hand, but he'll be fine. It's a stiff arm hand.
Yeah, he doesn't
runs
throw
the
it.
ball.
Who cares?
Tape it up.
All right, Cedric Wilson, he'll be out from I guess the timetable is 4 to 6 weeks
Which
with a knee injury.
They said it was a better prognosis than they hoped for, but I mean, 4 to 6 weeks.
Super Bowl.
Oh, wow. Okay. I was going to say
IR.
that's probably a season ender, but
IR out.
you think so?
Gone.
Is that a done deal?
No, it's not a done deal, but
Okay.
it's got to be.
I mean-
you're barely playing anyways. You only played because Tony Pollard was hurt.
Yeah.
Which,
Thanks, Tony.
yeah.
That's your next guy?
Next guy, Tony Pollard. He didn't play. We thought he might play, but he didn't.
I'd like to think
They
if
were
you're that close.
They
10
were
days later.
optimistic he could get up for the game, and he'll have 10 days, I would assume. 10 days off, and then another week of. Oh, wait, no. You're sorry. I'm
10
an idiot.
days.
10 days between games. Don't listen to me.
No,
But I think he'll be okay.
Leighton.
The next guy, Leighton. The first time we heard about this injury, Gary came out saying, "Oh, this is not gonna end his career. This is, this injury won't end his
And the
career."
fact
but
that
we
they
have
had
not,
to say that was the part that really got my eyebrows up. Like,
and we
what?
have yet to see him doing anything. So he's still out. And any updates on this?
I don't think we would see him unless it was a potential playoff game. I mean, there's 3 games left, and he's like typically, you see guys working on the conditioning bands with Britt Brown, and you kind of see signs that they're getting ready. We haven't seen any of that from Leighton, and I think that's fine.
And the injury is neck injury?
Yes. You're talking about like your nervous system and your neck is like pretty crucial to your ability to like walk and stuff like that. Be as cautious as you want to. But yeah, I just sort of think I'd be surprised if we see him in the regular season.
Necks are nothing to joke with.
Is that it?
Well,
Are there
and then
any more?
we'll have to find out with Jeff Heath and any updates on him and his shoulder deal because
he's the backup kicker, and he needs
You
to
could get Jeff Heath to kick extra points if you're worried about Forbath.
I'm down. I'm down for it.
It's so funny about when he made one like off the crossbar and in, and it was just like, wow, this is the GOAT.
I just want to see some wacky stuff these final 3 weeks. Like
like we haven't though. I mean, we haven't.
This has been a season of wacky
think
stuff.
about it. I mean, look at what we see different stuff. It's like, oh, okay, what's a fourth timeout?
I knew you were going to mention
what happened
that.
twice in the game? What is
That's
Do
not-
they ever call tripping? Yeah, they call it twice on the Cowboys like that. There was another call in the game.
I don't. That's all wacky stuff that happened to the Cowboys.
Index card for first down.
I would like to see the Cowboys elect.
2 years ago.
I was going to say, that's 2 years ago.
I would like to see the
You ever
Cowboys
seen it since?
I have not seen it.
Seen it happen
elect to
fresh?
I don't
do
think that guy's
some wacky
reffing
stuff.
anymore.
Oh yeah.
Elect to do it. Like, well, our kicker's not very good at extra points. Maybe we should run some more 2-point plays, or let's let our safety kick extra points.
The
Like,
Patriots
just do something
yesterday,
fun.
the Patriots couldn't move the ball at all fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden James White throws a pass that
Try the whole Saints 49ers game. Like, that was tons of wacky stuff that they all pulled out.
What
of
if
the,
Cooper Rush threw a fake punt like Taysom Hill did in that game yet. Yeah, I just want to let's get weird.
Do you really think?
I know we won't, but like let's get this season.
Really?
This season, like, would we all agree? Like, even if they make the playoffs, this is a disappointing season.
Yeah,
unless they go.
absolutely.
So let's just get weird.
We're gonna
with
get
it.
to Philly, and we're gonna have these little cards, and it's gonna just say "trick it up."
No,
Is that what's going to be on the room key card?
No, it's gonna say like "do what we do."
Yeah,
Trick it up. That would be interesting.
if the room key said "let's
Especially
get
on your room
weird,"
key.
I would be so happy.
Really weird on the room key.
Yeah, that doesn't read well on a hotel key. Never mind. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the Eagles play.
This is
All right,
off
calm
the
down,
rails.
guys.
Trick it up's not much better.
This is off the rails.
The Eagles play tonight against the Giants. Anything can happen.
Let me.
Eli's back.
All right. Actually, I thought about this morning. You think you want the Giants? Wait. Actually, never mind. You want the Giants. Actually, my point is you're worried about the Eagles because of playoff seeding. You want the Giants to win so they can't draft Chase Young. That's my new thing.
Yeah.
Don't let them draft the Ohio State pass rusher.
I agree with
They
you
need to win games and get out of that range.
Yeah.
So go
You think
Giants.
Chase going to be number 1 overall?
No, Joe Burrow will be number 1 overall.
Is
But
this our LSU glasses kind of
No,
tinting
it's
this?
what quarterbacks do. I mean,
But is he good enough to be
he's
the
an
number 1
Ohio
overall?
kid.
if
Probably.
Baker Mayfield can go 1 overall, then Joe can for sure.
I'm
Especially
getting Chase.
Cincinnati's number 1 right now, and they're probably
you need a
Chase
quarterback.
Young.
He lives an
I would
hour
get Chase
away.
Young too. Like, there's no doubt. Chase Young is the best.
Keep
player in this
Chase
draft.
Young out of the NFC
No
East.
doubt about it.
All right.
Put it on a T-shirt.
Little mini draft show going on
Yeah, there
here.
you go.
All right,
Hey,
guys.
that's what we do this time of year.
This is all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us. For Derek Eagleton, Nick Inman, David Hellman, and Member Garcia. This has been the break.
Cowboys break, yeah.
I guess so. The Cowboys break on DallasCowboys.com.
Radio.
Dale.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.